Hi guys, so welcome back to my channel. I want to say that this is my second time trying to film the voiceover. I am so bad at this. I am so sorry. Maybe it'll get better eventually. Anyways, today I bring you a piece that I decided to redraw. The original I drew in 2020, sometime in November, and I don't really know what the concept was behind the original piece, like some sort of like ocean creature. I don't know. I like to think that maybe she was like some sort of like mermaid, or maybe like some sort of creature similar to like what Ursula was from The Little Mermaid, with like an octopus body. It's fun to think about. Anyways, before I get too off track, I wanted to redraw something that I haven't like seen in a while, and I was looking through my art folder and I was like, oh wow, this piece is pretty old. Speaking of, can you guys believe that like 2020 was 5 years ago? I sure can't, cause to me that's just like absolutely crazy. It felt like I blinked and now it's 5 years later. I don't know. Hopefully the audio isn't too bad. I'm just like recording on my phone right now, like the audio, so I'm sorry if you can like hear any background noise or like hear me breathing. I'm alive. But anyways, so this is me just sketching out the character. I decided I wanted to like kind of like keep her in a similar vibe, but like draw her how I guess draw now. Back in 2020 I played around with more like a cartoony style, and I can still appreciate that. I just don't draw like that anymore, especially with the nose. Like, you'll see in like the little thumbnail, but like I think I borrowed that nose style from like when Casey Golden drew her characters like that, and I still look up to Casey Golden. She has like amazing like watercolor art and like skills, but I think I borrowed that nose, like how she used to draw noses from her. I don't know if she still draws noses like that. It's been a while since I've watched her, but maybe I should get back into watching her. So anyways, this is me just with the liquify tool fixing the proportions, and then you'll see me like drawing in like the dripping water. I always thought the concept of this piece was cool, like just having her upside down. Oh, this is the part where I forgot to record the liner, of course. That made me so mad. I thought I hit record and I didn't. So now you're stuck with watching me being halfway done with the coloring and all done with the line art. But later in the video, you'll get to see like the entire like speed paint process exported from Procreate. I'm so glad Procreate like records all your strokes, so you'll get to see the line art process briefly then. Anyways, this is me just blocking out the colors. I decided to go with a different color palette this time because the original blue was okay of the piece. It's just purple is like my favorite color, and I wanted to have fun with this, like redrawing this, so I thought, oh, let's spice up the color palette a little bit, make it something I like a little bit more. And I like purple, like I said, is my favorite color, so I chose purple. And I noticed too, like looking at a lot of my like newer art, that I use a lot of pinks and purples. So that color range has to be my favorite, right? As I've said before. This is me blocking in the shading, and for the shading, I think, what brush did I use? I used the standard Procreate brush Inca, I think, for like the shading. And usually like when I shade, I do like to do cell shading. And like, this time too, like with the cell shading, I decided to do like some sort of like dramatic half lighting. Is that what you would call it? I don't know the technical term, but like half her face is like lit up and half her face is in shadow. I guess that would be broad lighting. I'm gonna have to look this up later, but I decided to do that, and here's me just kind of like loosely like shading in the hair. I want, like, what's nice about the Inca brush is like I don't have to worry about being like too precise with it because it's already kind of like a really textured brush, and I really enjoy like using a textured brush. I mentioned this in the previous video, but textured brushes and like textured line art, like oh my gosh, I wish I could stop saying like, they are my favorite kind of brushes to use at the moment. There we go. So you'll just see me blocking it and everything, trying to pick the right blending mode. I played around with so many different ones, and I always end up just going to the tried and true multiply. Sometimes I get fancy with it and I choose like hard light or something, but nah, multiply usually just does the job. And here's me just adding in the secondary shading just to like make sure everything contrasts like against each other, is not like flat. I mean, technically cell shading is pretty flat, I think, most of the times. Unless I've been doing it wrong my entire life. that could also be too. But this is just like how I accomplish that. Just like shading in the little details. And I really enjoy, like, going back to the Inca brush, I really enjoy how it looks with long hair, because it like gives it a nice like texture that like kind of resembles actual hair. Not actual hair, but like, you know, like it kind of mimics the strands of hair without actually drawing in the strands. This is me just playing around with the lighting, still messing around with the shadows. I tried something different too with this piece. You'll see, like, right now actually, I decided to do like, oh my god, can I please stop saying like? I decided to do like, oh my god, I keep doing it. I decided to do pink highlights because it's different than white highlights, and I usually do white highlights. And I thought it would be cool to kind of do something different than what I usually do, because the whole purpose of me like starting this YouTube channel is kind of like I want to like fall in love with art again, because for a long time I mentioned in the previous video, if you haven't seen that, you could go watch it, but I briefly mentioned that like I have a hard time like with having time to do art, and it's just I want to fall in love with it again. And I don't know if it's just me getting older or what, but sometimes like it's really hard for me to be motivated to actually make something. And I want to change that, because I do not want to ever give up art. I love art so much, and to give it up would be like kind of like killing a part of myself, because I've done art for so long and it's a comfort for me. And I couldn't imagine my life without it. It brings me joy, even though sometimes it's very taxing and hard to stay motivated. Anyways, this is me adding in the secondary highlighting with the white, and then I add in the blush because I forgot to do that earlier. And I use like a watercolor brush for the blush, and then I edit it to make it look less intense than that hot pink I used. I try to, and this is me like changing like the line art color. I never like doing just straight black line art. I like adding, like, making it a different color. And then this is me just picking the perfect purple for the line art of the water. And then I started doing the shading of the water. And for the water, I think it turned out pretty nice. I mean, just like, I was kind of messy with it. And I think that kind of like adds to like the imperfect kind of like fluid nature of water. Because I feel like if I spent like forever like getting every strokes perfect, it wouldn't have, why can I not speak? It wouldn't have looked as good, I think. And my favorite part about doing water, of course, is the juicy white highlights, which is what I'm doing now, in the video at least. Just like adding like all like the reflections and from the rippling water of her, like having her head pop out. And for this piece too, like I debated on like, should I just keep it like right side up or should I just keep it upside down like in the original? Because I thought it looked good, like kind of her like right side up. It's kind of like a weird, like, oh my gosh, I'm going to like scream. I cannot say like anymore. I'm banned from that word. Yeah, I decided to just keep the same like orientation for the piece because I thought it would be a better side-by-side comparison. But I like this piece either or, like upside down, right side up. Like to me, I like them either way. And then for the background, I decided to use that watercolor brush I used for her blush and like kind of like put it in for like the background, making it darker, adding in kind of like some lighter areas, and then you'll see like me put on some like little clouds almost, darkening up that top part a little bit because I thought it could use a little bit more contrast. And then merging some layers, fixing like the opacity of some things, adding in the final eye highlights. I always do those last, I don't know why. Anyways, here's like the complete process, and in this process you'll get to see like the actual like line art that I forgot to film very briefly when I got to do it. Yeah, very quick, go on by. And it's just so interesting to see the process. The one thing I did change too about this from compared to the original is I made it a different like size. And here's the final piece as you see. And then here's the comparison. I think there's some improvement. It's definitely like a different style. I still like the original, but anyways, that's all I have for you guys. Thank you again for watching. If you want to subscribe, thanks. If you don't, that's also okay. Thank you for the watch. So bye. I'll see you again soon, hopefully.